Welcome to Implausible Nature, home to competitive Black Templars gameplay.
All right. So on today's video, we are going to talk about the big FAQs that GW just dropped on us, including some very interesting points changes. So to jump right in, we have 3 units for Space Marines that changed. Both Eradicators, Outriders, and Inceptors all went up 5 points per model. I think everybody probably saw this coming. We also got some interesting points changes for Black Templars as well. Our Initiates went down from 18 points per model to 15 points per model. And the Sword Brethren model in that squad can now take a Stormbolter for 3 points instead of 5. So some interesting points changes there. Bob, how do you feel that those points changes affect Black Templars and Space Marines in general?
Yeah, so this is going to be a big deal for us. So, one of the most important units for a lot of Space Marine armies right now, including a lot of Black Templars players, is the Plasma Inceptors. So that's going to be a huge jump up in price. If you're taking the 5-man squad, which is per standard, that's going to be additional 25 points. So you're going to be rocking a 275 point list. Right now, at that kind of points, it's much harder to validate using it. It was tough to really kind of fit those points in right now at the 250 points. You really kind of had to build around them with a reroll 1 to prevent them from killing themselves. Now with that additional hike in points, that unit's really kind of a big liability for your units, while they still kill about approximately 10 Marines per shooting phase, assuming you are not getting ones. Um, that's a lot of damage, but it's still a big liability on that. The big one that is really going to affect a lot of our lists is going to be the Eradicators. So most units or most players will take some form of redundancy on their Eradicators, so sporting 2 different squads of them. And with that additional 5 points each, you're going to be sitting with 30 points in your list that you have to cut. I personally am having a difficult time trying to find those points in my list because right now Space Marine players are really slim on their points. We're very elite in what we do, and every point counts. So this is going to be something that's going to be tough to swallow. But with that change, that 30-point change, if you're a user of units such as the Assault Intercessors for your troops, uh, our Crusader squads, despite being able to lose the ability to take several stratagems like Transhuman or Rapid Fire or their Fight Again, uh, it's a good alternative now with their current price. Bog standard, 75 points with no weaponry. Uh, but with that being said, they're 15 points each now. So that is a huge discount. They're going to be a great use to potentially charge up the board to take some of those off-center objectives or even sit on a home objective because they're so cheap now. We kind of lamented the loss of scouts going into the elite slot, losing that really cheap troop squad. Now we got a cheap troop squad back. You can also offset some of that loss of attacks from the intercessors to the Crusader squads by taking additional power weapons, because you can take one on the Sword Brother and one of the units or one of the initiates in the squad. And of course, you can also take a Neophyte to get access to the -1 to hit stratagem with your smoke grenades. You can also take Stormbolter on your Sword Brother and a long range weapon to give them some long range punch while they're sitting on those home objectives. So it's a good unit to kind of give you some alternative options for objective holding to save you some points if you're going really bare minimum on that. So it's something that made them viable. Now, if you're looking at an Assault Intercessor squad for 95 points versus the 75 point squad, the Assault Intercessor squad is still going to be the way to go. But if you need to save some points, like many of us have to do now as part of this FAQ, it might not be a half bad place to cut a squad down. With that being said, in addition, I don't think Alec mentioned they did increase the heavy bolter points up on the Crusader squad, so they're no longer free. They're 10 points standard now. So I think a lot of us thought that was going to happen anyway. So other than that, so there really isn't a whole lot more impact on us as far as the main three Outriders, Plasma Interceptors, or the Eradicators. Many of us are still going to be taking those Eradicators because they are just so good. Inceptors, maybe not now, being up to that price range. And Outriders, I don't believe that was a warranted price change, but they're still going to be viable in some usage. Axe, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think obviously the Eradicator change we knew was going to come eventually. Honestly, I think we should all feel lucky that they only went up 5 points per model. They could have easily gone up 10 points per model and still been worth it, so it's just that much less that we have to cut. They're still going to be a great unit for us to take. Like you said, Inceptors I think are going to be harder for us to field, and it's not because they're not worth 275 points. They absolutely are. There's no doubt about that to me. The problem is, are they worth 275 points in a Black Templars list where we're already trying to cram in a really expensive Vanguard squad and or Terminator squad, both of which are going to cost upwards of 300 points themselves. So you're looking at these up to 3 really expensive units. That's going to be hard to justify those extra points costs. If you're taking the Inceptors in a list, like you said, you do have to build around them. You do want that, preferably Chapter Master, because the only unit that's going to keep up with them and give you rerolls to 1 is a Jump Pack Captain. You know, the meta choice right now is to take a Chapter Master because he can target them in the command phase, and then they can fly off and do their thing, you know, on the first turn and get full rerolls, which you obviously just want to reroll the 1s. It's not worth rerolling the 2s, I don't think. So you do have to build more around it. It's going to cost you that many more points, and those points are going to be hard to cut in an already very elite heavy Black Templar style list. For Crusader squads, I think that they are definitely now a viable choice to sit on a backfield objective, take bolters, and either a grav cannon or a heavy bolter, do some incidental damage, claim that objective in your backfield or on the side of the board, wherever, and do actions, those type of things, because they're so cheap now. And like Bob said, you can use them to pare down your list if you need to shave points somewhere from like an assault intercessor squad. I do agree that assault intercessors are still absolutely worth taking over Crusaders as a combat troop simply because of all the stratagems. This is a great change for them. It makes them viable to be taken in lists. A couple other small points changes that I forgot to mention. The Cenobites went down to 6 points per model, making them just 18 points now instead of 20. So that's helpful. And the Emperor's Champion went down 5 points to 80 points. So we do have some channel updates for you guys. I know we've been on a bit of a hiatus because of all the holidays, and we really appreciate your patience with all of that. We do have several videos in process for you. Look for the Dreadnoughts video up next, and after that, we'll wrap up with the Elites with our Elite Infantry video. I know Bob has a list building video that he is working on, and I'll be shooting some more hobby videos here soon. I'm gonna do decals next, but if there's anything hobby related that you want to see, please let us know down in the comments. Also, a reminder, I'm playing in the Warp Wanderers RTT Tabletop Simulator Tournament this weekend. I'll be streaming it live right here on our YouTube channel on Sunday at 1:30 Eastern, so be sure to tune into that. I'll be playing Dustin from Stud or Scrub. He's got some great info on competitive 40K, so definitely check him out. I've left some links down in the description. I'm really looking forward to our game, and I hope all of you guys can tune in. So that's it for today's video. If you guys want to see more competitive Black Templar content, please give us a subscription. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you can get notified on all of our latest content. We have a Discord, so be sure to check that out, as well as a Patreon. And we want to say thank you to all of our great Patreons, and we'll see you guys next time.